Hey guys, welcome to SNN episode 2 with me, your host Mo Williams. Sorry for the delay in the release of the second episode. I had so much to sort out, but let's get right into it. Featuring on this week's episode, we start off with I Am For Everybody, I Am For Nobody News Stein, the DSS and the NBA. We then check out whether or not we believe Mama Peace and GEJ are trolling Nigerians. We then move on to whether or not the president believes women belong in the kitchen, and we round it up with the US presidential elections. We kick off today's show with an interview that aired on TV involving a data analyst talking about statistics published by Transparency International, the world's watchdog on corruption. Let's check this video out.
Transparency International. Here's what Transparency International survey about corruption in Nigeria reveals. And let's listen carefully to this.
You know, I'm trying my best to concentrate and listen carefully, but I keep getting distracted by the fact that he's wearing a wig like he's about to address the court. You know that easier ways to inform people you're a lawyer, you know, like telling them you're a lawyer. But hey, it's not like I'm a lawyer or anything.
Now let's listen carefully to this. They did a survey in Nigeria, and that survey showed that 63% of Nigerians say judges are corrupt. In simple terms, Chamberlain, it means 6 out of 10 judges are corrupt.
Wait, what?
It means 6 out of 10 judges are corrupt.
It means 6 out of 10 judges are corrupt.
You see, I'm no data analyst, but if 63% of a survey shows that people think judges are corrupt, that doesn't mean 6 out of 10 judges are corrupt. That means 63% of the people surveyed think judges are corrupt.
It's been about the stable impression for a while, and this was their last survey. In simple terms, again, it means this is not about the best time to be a friend to a judge. However, if you run to
decide your future.
Yes, so we probably could run to the legislators.
I love how after the host asked him, "You've just described your future," he just completely ignores it. He ignores it and he just continues talking.
This is not about the best time to be a friend to a judge. However, if you run to
decide your future.
Yes, so we probably could run to the legislators. But again, corruption.
However, if you run to decide your future, yes, so we probably could run to the legislators.
LOL.
So we probably could run to the legislators. But again, corruption indicators based on Transparency International survey say 73% of legislators are corrupt.
You see, that's not what it means. You know what? I'm just glad he took off the wig. By his standards, he went on to say that 9 out of 10 policemen and politicians are corrupt. Again, his words, not mine.
Now, if these facts scare you, and you have a heart attack and you end up in the hospital, they did a survey among people on their perception of corruption in the medical world. They found out that 41% of doctors and health professionals are perceived to be corrupt. In simple terms, you are almost going to have a 50-50% chance of being treated by a corrupt doctor.
Okay, so at this point, I think the hosts are just egging him on, and he goes on and on.
Tell us more. What else did you find?
If you do not make it out of the hospital and you sadly pass on, and your parents or your family choose before burial to rush you to an Islamic scholar, or they rush you to a Bible-believing church for some hope, their survey showed that people believed almost 1/3 of religious institutions are corrupt.
You mean to tell me that this dude really came to the interview with a copy of the Bible and the Quran? Wow. We at SNN would like to say we admire your eccentricity, sir. He went on to have words for past head of states because Nigeria has never scored over 2.7 according to Transparency International's ratings on corruption.
In 17 years, year on year, the best score we've achieved in corruption is 2.7 over 10. If this were a football match, here's what it means. Everybody that has attempted to fight corruption will have been given
You're giving President Obasanjo a red card, President Jonathan a red card.
This is all based on the report of Transparency International.
We'll be back in a moment on that note.
That's a hard
Join
referee.
us again.
I love how he brought out the red card and said nothing like, hey, you know what this means. I'm not going to say what it means because you know. But in all seriousness, this goes to show how little faith we Nigerians have in ourselves and in our institutions. I like to commend the analyst for at least making it a bit humorous while he was talking about these doom and gloom numbers. It goes to show that we Nigerians have a sense of humor regardless of the situation. My advice to the analyst would be that next time he comes on TV, he should probably lose the wig though. Okay, so let's talk about what happened since the DSS raided the homes of 7 judges. First off, the NBA declared a state of emergency within the judiciary. After that, allegations were thrown all around. First off, the DSS actions were claimed to be illegal. Then they were claimed to be legal. There were claims that the judges made statements that were incriminating. People came and said that those statements were made under duress. There were claims that the DSS didn't have the right warrants, with one judge claiming he was served a warrant that was addressed to another judge. There were claims that the DSS didn't even petition the NJC before they acted. And there were counterclaims that the DSS petitioned them, but those petitions were rejected. Seriously, I haven't seen this much legal drama since season 6 of Suits. Seriously, this was like the AC Milan, Liverpool of legal drama. I haven't seen this kind of thing before. Then the NBA and the NJC started having problems. The NBA suggested to the NJC that they suspend the judges that are under investigation because it's not a good look to have them sitting on matters while they're under investigation. The NJC responded by saying, you can't tell us what to do. They said that under the Constitution, nobody has the right to tell them how they go about the discipline of judicial officers. So the NJC came out and said that if they were to suspend every judicial officer on the recommendation of government MDAs and the NBA, that hundreds of judicial officers would be suspended, leaving the courts completely empty. There was a sense that they were really trying to show everyone that you couldn't tell them what to do. A week after, they released the NJP, which stands for the National Judicial Policy, which then turned around and gave themselves the power to suspend judges that were under investigation. Yeah, they really showed that you couldn't tell them what to do by effecting into law what they were told to do. Now, the NJP also has a funny provision about media coverage. So basically, the provision sets out that if an investigation is going on and is leaked to the media, it will be suspended. And if an investigation is going on and is leaked to the media by the accuser, then it will be completely terminated. Now, I think this position is completely undesirable because if you're a judge and you happen to be a corrupt one and you are under investigation and you would like to put a stop to that investigation, I think you could just leak your investigation to the media. And if you're really a G, you could probably get it to look like it was the accuser that leaked it and get your investigation completely terminated. I don't know if that's how it's going to work in practice, but your guess is as good as mine. Now, the investigation of the DSS against these judges and the aftermath is something that we Nigerians should continue to follow and see how it develops because it's going to affect us all. So let's keep an eye on this topic as we move to the next one. Does anyone else feel like Patience and Goodluck Jonathan are just trolling Nigerians? The behavior indicates they don't rate highly on the self-awareness meter or they just don't give a damn. Seriously, I think they just don't give a damn. First off, Patience Jonathan sued the EFCC for freezing money in accounts that up until the point that she was not even linked to the investigation. That's right, you heard it right. The EFCC didn't go looking for Patience. Patience went looking for the EFCC. Now, President Jonathan, or former President Jonathan, was asked to speak at the Oxford Union Society for reasons that make as much sense as this next video. Now, in addition to all the achievements he claimed his administration made, former President Jonathan said that there was no way retired Colonel Dasuki could have stolen $2.2 billion. After the event, an Abuja-based public relations outfit released a statement coming from Johnson saying that he had kept quiet to allow the court handle the ongoing prosecution of Dasuki so as to not be seen as a former president challenging the sitting administration. Now, saying something and saying that you didn't want to say it doesn't make saying it sound any better. That's like me wanting someone not to sit on a broken chair, the person sitting on the chair, falling off, and me saying, hey, I didn't want to tell you I told you so, but I did tell you so. Anyway, shout out to Patience and good luck for acting like a bunch of people that they worked with are not under investigation. And Patience is also kind enough to explain the source of what is now $30 million. She said that it came from legitimate gifts and well wishes that she had saved over 15 years to upgrade the family business. Now, if that doesn't make you question your friendships, I don't know what will.
Round 1.
Now, the First Lady, Aisha Buhari, recently shocked Nigerians in an interview that aired on BBC Hausa by warning her husband that she would not participate in the 2019 elections if he did not make changes to his cabinet. She claimed that he did not know most of the people that made up the cabinet, and she didn't know them either, considering she's been married to him for 27 years. So this led to people reading in between the lines and trying to make meaning of her statements. Well, I wanted to know, how did they know what she meant? Because saying, I don't know these people is a pretty ambiguous statement. How do people know what she meant by saying, I don't know? Like, has she never seen these people before? Do they know each other but they don't hang out? Did someone accept a friend request? Did someone not follow her back? I don't know, but how do you know what she meant? I think the real question here is, how well do you need to know someone before they can work under your administration? And for me, frankly, is well enough to know that they can get the job done. Now, while Mr. President was away in Germany, he was pressed to make comments on his wife's criticism, and he had this to say.
I don't know which party my wife belongs to, but she belongs to my kitchen and my living room and the other room.
Oh, no, Mr. President, you can't say that. Foul play. Again, we find ourselves wondering whether or not a Nigerian politician lacks self-awareness or they just don't give a damn. Because correct me if I'm wrong, that's the most powerful woman on earth standing right beside him. So naturally, word got around about these comments on the internet and there was a lot of criticism. So one Garba Shehu, the senior special assistant to the presidency on media and publicity, tweeted this about the comments. He said, "My friends, can't a leader get a sense of humor anymore?" Mr. President laughed before he made those statements. He obviously was throwing banter. He went on to say that politics sometimes should be spiced with humor, and those close to him know there's never a dull moment with him. Again, words from the senior special assistant, which makes me wonder what his job description is, because why does he have to be both senior and special? Is there another senior assistant? Is there another special assistant? Is there a junior not so special assistant? Okay, I guess that's kind of me just finding fault. But pressed to make comments on his earlier comments, Mr. President had this to say.
Your wife criticised your choices for top jobs, and you responded by saying, I don't know which party my wife belongs to, but she belongs to my kitchen and my living room. What did you mean by that, sir?
I'm sure you have a house. You know where your kitchen is. You know where your living room is.
Yes.
And I believe your wife is to look after that, even if she is working.
And so that is your wife's function. It is to
yes,
to
look after me.
Oh, no. You know what this means. I'm not going to say anything, but you know what this means. Come on, Mr. President. But wait, I thought he was joking. Didn't the senior special assistant on media and publicity come out and tell us that he was joking? You see, the problem here was that we got the information from, someone with the low title, senior special assistant. Someone of that level would never know what the president meant. You see, if we got the information from the supreme ultimate grandmaster assistant, then we would have known what he was talking about. And the funny thing about this whole situation is that Goodluck Jonathan may have seen this coming.
If that is the position for others, so be it. But I told Nigerian women that their votes for 2015 is a vote to liberate them or to imprison them into the kitchen.
Well, you know what they say about broken clocks. Now let's talk about some international news. U.S. presidential elections between Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, and some other parties. I think the Green Party or something. I mean, I don't even care. There was no chance Donald Trump was going to win. Hillary was ahead in all the polls, right?
Meanwhile, the latest national poll has Clinton up by 9, just 12 days from Election Day. For a closer look at some of this polling, I'm joined by NBC News senior political editor Mark Murray. And Mark, I'll tell you this. We've got the national poll that shows her up by 9. Another one shows her up by 14. Another one shows her up by 3. It is like numbers overload.
You damn lying polls. How could you do this to me? This is why polls are not facts. Matter of fact, take this poll. Get out of here! I mean, no one saw this coming. Wole Soyinka said he was going to cut his green card. TB Joshua even said he saw a vision of a woman winning the election. And it is not this. This doesn't count. Come on!
They were telling me that at that 10 days ago, it was man that would have won the election. The law said, narrowly, there's a state that enormously 99% vote for this woman, and the woman.
He even posted the prophecy on Facebook, and then he deleted it after he found out his prophecy wasn't right. Awkward. You see, this is the problem with social media and prophets. Prophets of nowadays, anytime they're inspired by God to say something, they post it online. But the prophets of yesteryear never had this problem, because if they were inspired by God to give an opinion and they were inspired by him again to give a contrary opinion, there was no record of it online.
The law said, narrowly, there's a state that enormously 99% vote for this woman.
And the woman.
Now, with that being said, can you imagine someone like, say, Abraham having a Twitter account?
Abraham and his wife Sarah were very rich. They had lots of camels, lots of possessions, and many servants.
Look at you. Now look at us. All the prophets rich as.
But they were missing something very important. They had no children.
I wish I had a kid though. It gets lonely around here.
One day, God gave Abraham a promise that he would have many descendants, more than the stars in the sky or the sand on the seashore. Impossible, thought Abraham.
Yeah, right. Have you seen my wife? Please.
God did not break his promise. Even though it was physically impossible for Abraham and Sarah to have any kids, God gave them a baby boy.
Yes, Lord, yes. I still got it. I still got it. I'm going to name this kid Isaac. Swag, swag, swag.
As Isaac grew older, Abraham loved him even more. He taught him about God, and Isaac was a daily reminder of God's faithfulness and promise. But then, something happened. God was going to give Abraham a test. God told Abraham, "Take your son Isaac, sacrifice him to me." Abraham was heartbroken. But he loved God. He knew that he must obey God. He knew that God was good and that God would keep his promises and provide another sacrifice. Early the next morning, Abraham, Isaac, and some servants set out to sacrifice to God.
Taking the boys out and my son for a long walk. Straight face.
They loaded up the donkey with wood and traveled for 3 days to get to the right place. It was called Moriah. They climbed the mountain, and Abraham built an altar. Isaac did not see any animals for the sacrifice and did not understand what Abraham was about to do. Abraham assured Isaac that God would provide the offering himself.
This kid asks too many damn questions. Do you think I don't know there's no animal to sacrifice? Do you think I want to do this? It's because I love God. That's why I'm doing this. What do you intend on doing with my child, Abe? Do not get any funny ideas. I hold the record for oldest person to give birth. I'd rather not add the oldest murderer to the list. I thought I had her blocked. Who's handling the settings on my phone?
With tears in his eyes, pleading to God, Abraham tied up his son upon the altar. He was grieved beyond description. He was heartbroken. Then Abraham lifted the knife to offer his son's life as a sacrifice. But something happened. A voice spoke. Abraham, Abraham. It was an angel's voice, speaking for God. Don't harm the boy. I know that you fear God, since you were willing to sacrifice your son in obedience to God. Then the voice told Abraham to look at a nearby bush. There was a ram caught in a thicket. Abraham was overjoyed. His son Isaac would live.
You got me there for a second, Lord. Well played, well played. You better have not done what I think you've done.
So now we can see that the prophets of yesteryear didn't have social media to contend with. So maybe we should give the prophets of this day and age a break sometimes. So thank you guys for watching to the end. Watch the space for more great content. It's me, your host, Mo Williams, over and out.